There has been a lot made of this misclassification error, and I just wonder, having had the weekend to kind of dig through everything and take a look at all of it, what's your takeaway?
Well, it actually happened to us all twice last week, right? When the ADP number came out, I was on a different network. Sorry about that. And when the number came out, I said, geez, that doesn't make any sense. I got to go back and get my pencil out and figure out what's going on. And then the jobs number went even further in that direction. I think that one of the things that we're going to find is that for the next few months, we're going to be making mistakes that are bigger than mistakes we've ever made before, because we're looking at about a 20 sigma shock to the economy. And so therefore, there are going to be massive fluctuations in things. My guess, though, is that the headline for me is that there were about, say, 18 million people in April that said that they expect to be rehired in the next 6 months, and it's about 15 million people in May, and that people are getting back to work. If you look at the home-based data, 73% of businesses are now open, and so that we went way, way down, and now we're crawling back, and I think we'll continue to crawl back and maybe even accelerate back through the summer. And so I think that the headline is that we stopped, everything went way, way down. Now it's coming back. It really is coming back. Whether it's coming back this fast or this fast is something that'll probably vary from month to month. But it was a great jobs report. It really was.
Yeah, that's what so many people have been looking at this saying. Okay, we know that people are starting to come back. The question is how quickly, which industries, and where will there be actual damage to the point where you don't see some of those jobs come back? And again, you made the point that we're all going to be kind of caught by surprise by some of these things from time to time because it's just so hard to guess on things of this scale. But what would your anticipation be? Because before the Friday jobs report, there had been a lot of economists who had been telling us that they would anticipate that come December, you're still going to be looking at an 8 to 9% unemployment rate. Do you think that's the case?
I think that obviously we're in uncharted territory, but the one thing that we did do with the, say, 3 phases of stimulus is that we built a bridge to the reopening of the economy by, like with the PPP loans, 4.5 million businesses sort of kept their workers around so they could get right back to work right away. And so I think now the question is, do we just sort of stay on the other side in the sense that the disease continues to trend down, and even though we're opening up, we don't get another outbreak? I think if that happens, then all of these positive numbers will accelerate because basically we bought time and we used the time. And I think that another reason for confidence, which I stated when I spoke with the president of the Rose Garden last week, is that the task force led by Doctors Birx and Fauci, they really did do a great job of giving governors guidance for how to open safely and what to do, and we're all wearing masks now and so on. And so I think that people feel more confident going back to work, which is why it's happening faster than we expected.
Kevin, that's all great news. And again, the market has cheered this the entire way. Sure. But if you look at some of those states that did open for business early, you are starting to see an uptick in cases once again. Places like Texas, places like California. And in Arizona, there was a story over the weekend about how the largest hospital center there was talking about how it's nearly at 100% for capacity in its ICU. And that is the type of thing that we kind of watch and wonder. I know you are not a doctor, neither am I, but we all are kind of watching those numbers, too, to try and figure out what comes next. What's your thought from that?
That's right. Well, the thing is that one of the things that we've noticed in terms of the variation in the data is that the places that have been closed have had sort of surprisingly high numbers of COVID cases, and the places that were open actually kind of had lower than a lot of the epidemiological models suggested cases. And I think that there could be a little bit of wiggle in that, but right now it looks to be mostly like what's going on is that all across the country people are starting to open up, and that while there are definitely hot spots where we can send people in and we got much better testing, much better treatments and so on, that generally speaking, there's not been kind of an inversion in the national curve. The other thing I could say, though, is that there's an enormous amount of geographic variation in opening up and the economic effects of it. And it's something that we're noodling a lot about on the economic team in the White House right now. So as an example, here in Washington, D.C., that's still about the case that 50% of businesses are closed. And then there are other parts of the country, I think Montana is the place that's the most open right now, and you could think about geographically why that would be. And almost 100% of businesses in Montana, it's a little bit less than that, are open. And so the geographic variation is huge, but it's not necessarily related to the path of the disease. I think it's related more to the, say, preferences of the governors and the mayors that are running those places. And so that geographic variation, though, it could be a limiter on how quickly the economy could get back going, because the places that open, especially open safely, can get back to normal, I think, quickly because of the 3 phases of the deal. But the places that are still shut might start to see problems with bankruptcies and other things that happen because they go a really, really lengthy period, even longer than maybe the stimulus allowed for, without having sales and profits and so on.